on Bayern Munich. This is something we discussed yesterday at length, the fact that Upamecano's out, as is Alphonso Davies, of course, putting that cruciate ligament out for the season. What's been the reaction in Germany to this? Obviously, a lot of discourse. His agent coming out, having to go at Canada. Canada defending themselves, saying that, in fact, he did want to play. How's this been covered in Germany, Derek?
Yeah, there's certainly concern in the Bayern camp and amongst Bayern fans, and with good reason. Alphonso Davies is a key player, and you can't replace him necessarily like for like in terms of his style. And the fact that he's going to be out for 6 months or more, that is a real blow. You can add Dayot Upamecano to it, although they do have cover in central defence. Manuel Neuer hasn't quite come back from his latest injury as quickly as most people had hoped. So Jonas Urbich, the young goalkeeper who made a mistake, it must be said, in the last game against Union, will have to play again for a bit. And so it's a case of trying to come up with the right formula for a few games in defence. I don't think Bayern have a problem from middle to front. If you think about how well Joshua Kimmich and Leon Goretzka played for Germany during the international period, absolutely lights out. Olise has had a terrific season, left-footed player coming in off the right-hand side. Musiala needs no introduction. And Harry Kane, even though he hasn't scored in, 5 Bundesliga games now, did score for England in their 2 matches. So I wouldn't worry about Bayern's ability to score goals. But we saw, remember, recently against Bochum, against lowly Bochum, that they can concede 3 goals at home. And so they've got to be careful, starting with St. Pauli, the next opponents, Augsburg after that, who are on a really good run. And of course, the complicating factor for Bayern in all of this, and it's a good problem to have, but it still makes it complicated, is that they desperately want to win the Champions League at home. Never a week goes by without Bayern talking about that, about the final at home. And Bayern want to make sure that they get it right this time when you think back to when last they hosted it, that season when Chelsea beat them in the final. But in the Bundesliga, I've given up trying to decide what's a difficult game and what's an easy game, because in recent times for both Bayern and Leverkusen, it's gone, if you like, against the head. And so it could be any number of games, could be any one of the games that could end up being problematic for Bayern. It's a 6-point lead in the Bundesliga. Yeah. It's effectively 7 with the goal difference, Dan. But I'm not certainly of a belief right now that you can say, yeah, Bayern are absolutely guaranteed to win the title. It's a long shot in terms of Leverkusen doing it, but it's not absolutely signed, sealed and delivered.
As you mentioned, of course, so much focus on their Champions League chances, given where the final is. How would you divvy this up percentage-wise of Bayern getting past Inter, Derek, considering the news this week?
Well, I was listening to Karl-Heinz Rummenigge talking about it, and of course he has very strong connections in Italy with Inter, and he says that Bayern are not the favourites. Now, that's Rummenigge just being Rummenigge and being a bit cautious. I think it's probably in Bayern's favour, but when you look at the nature of Inter and the way they play, they could be a really tough nut to crack, with the first leg being in Munich, and Inter at the moment, just reading what's going on in their camp, they do have a number of injury worries, which they hope will clear up. Lautaro Martinez, Marcus Thuram, of course, can be formidable players. Thuram needs no introduction to Bundesliga fans based on what he did with Gladbach. I think that it's one of those games that people would look at and think Bayern should win, but it has that banana skin quality about it. And so I would say it's about 55% Bayern. I don't know if Craig and Shaka would go along with that.
I was going to move on, but I suppose, yeah, go on.
Well,
55-45?
I don't know, Sid.
You do, he's here.
Perfect.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You got Bayern as favourite.
I got Inter to go all the way.
Don't you have Inter to go through?
So,
Don't you have Inter to go through?
He's forgotten.
I guess. I'll take your word for it, Dan.
So Bayern the favourites, but Inter to go through.
Derek, it was much more professional you used to host this. I apologise for taking
it certainly wasn't.
Dragging it through the mud. Derek, what games you got this weekend? When can we see on ESPN Plus?
Leverkusen against Bochum tomorrow, the first game back after the international break, and then Bayern on Saturday against St. Pauli. So we'll see the top 2 Friday and Saturday respectively, and a lot of good games there. And look out for Mainz as well, because they are a team going places currently in third. What a story it would be if they could make the Champions League for the first time. Dortmund, their opponents, in trouble, as we know.